ready.
We start with our mirror brackets. They're securely mounted. They're not cracked, bent, or broken. Our door opens, closes, latches, and unlatches. Our door hinges are securely mounted. They're not cracked, bent, or broken. They're not excessively worn, and they hold the weight of the door. From there we go to our weather stripping. Our weather stripping is intact. From there we go to our handles and our steps. They're securely mounted. There's no debris wrapped around it. They're not cracked, bent, or broken, and no missing hardware. From there we go to our batteries. Our batteries are securely mounted. They're not cracked, broken, or leaking. Our electrical connections, they're secure, they're tight, and they're not corroded. Then we go down to our air tanks. Our air tanks are securely mounted. They're not cracked, dented, or leaking, and they must be drained daily. Our turn signal and four-way, securely mounted. It's not cracked or broken. It's not missing. Proper color of amber. Go to our depth tank. Our depth tank is securely mounted. It's not cracked, dented, or leaking, and it is well capped. From there we go to our steps and our catwalk. Our steps and our catwalk securely mounted. They're not cracked, bent, or broken. No debris on it. No missing hardware. Our fuel tank securely mounted, not cracked, dented, or leaking. It is secured with a metal strap. It has rubber backing. Any sign of looseness would be shiny metal around the strap or backing. It is well capped. Capped is tight, and it has a seal. Our frame and our cross members securely mounted. They're not cracked, bent, or broken. They're not illegally welded, and they have no man-made holes. From there we go to our dry shaft and our universal joints. Our dry shaft is securely mounted. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. Has no debris wrapped around it. And our universal joints are securely mounted and well greased. We go to our exhaust. Our exhaust is securely mounted. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. Has no leaks. Black soot would be a sign of a leak. From there, we go to our torque arm. Our torque arm is securely mounted. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. Bushings are not excessively worn. From there, we go to our suspension hanger. Our suspension hanger is securely mounted. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. Our control arm is securely mounted. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. It is secured to the axle with an axle seat, anchor plate, saddle, and U-bolts. Any sign of looseness would be shiny metal around the saddle and the U-bolts. From there, we're going to go to our brake air lines. Our brake air lines are securely mounted. They're not cracked, bent, or broken. Sorry, they're not cut, torn, or frayed. Our ABS line is not cut, torn, or frayed. Our brake chamber is securely mounted. It's not cracked, dented, or leaking. Coming out of that would be a push rod. Our push rod is not cracked, bent, or broken. It is secured to our slack adjuster with a clevis, a pin, a cotter pin. The slack adjuster has to be well greased, has to be securely mounted, may not travel or move more than 1 inch. To check that, I would release my brakes, chalk my wheels, release my brakes, and pull on it. We got a shock absorber. Our shock absorber is securely mounted. It's secured to top of the frame, bottom to the axle, nuts, bolts, rubber bushings, and the bushings are not excessively worn. Right behind that, we have our airbag or our air bellow. It is securely mounted. It's secured top to the frame, bottom to the control arm, and it is not cut, torn, frayed, and it is not has no rubbing debris wrapped around it. From there, we go to our brake drum. Our brake drum is round. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. It's free of any grease, oil, or debris. Our brake shoes or pads securely mounted. They're not cracked, broken, or missing. And they have to have at least a 1/4 inch of braking material. They too have to be free of any grease, oil, and debris. If any grease or oil is present, sign of an inner seal leak. From there, we're going to go to a 3-inch gap between our tires. It has to be free of any debris. If any debris is present, you would use the tool and have your hand to remove it. Then we come out to the tire. Tire is evenly worn across the top, same size, same type across the axle. Tread depth on this can be no less than 2/32 of an inch. Has to be filled to 100 to 110 psi or manufacturer's recommendation. To check this tire, you can use a tire thumper or an air gauge when it's cold. This can be recapped, and it cannot have any abrasions, bulges, cuts, or separations. From there we go to our rim. Our rim is round, it's not cracked, bent, or broken, it's not illegally welded. It is secured with lug nuts. All lug nuts are tight and present. Any sign of looseness on aluminum wheel would be white powdery residue. Our valve stem is securely mounted. It's metal cap, straight and not leaking. Our axle seal is securely mounted. It's not missing any nuts or bolts. It's tight and it's free of grease, oil, and debris. Any grease or oil is present, it'd be a sign of an outer seal leak. From there, we go to our mud flap. Our mud flap is securely mounted. It is not cut or torn, has DOT tape across the top. It cannot be more than 8 inches off the ground. We have 3 lights in the back. Our 2 outer lights are our turn signals, 4-ways, and brake light. Our middle light is our reverse light. They are the proper color of either clear or red, and they are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing. Could you help me check my lights? Okay.